Welcome back. Another day. This is Unapologetically Strong. Woo, man, it's Wednesday. So we just heard a little bit about stress. So let's ensure that we are being, mindful about stress and mindful about how we do things. All right. So today we have a very special guest. We have a brother that is in the fitness industry, but just like anything else, this brother did not start in the fitness industry. And it wasn't until he and I had known each other for a couple of days that I didn't actually know that he was that he was actually he was also one of my brothers, right? And he also crossed at my chapter, which is, we're way out there. We're all over the place. So I want to go ahead and bring in my brother, the one and only Eric Hudson. You there, my man?
I'm here. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty good.
Doing well. So my man is on the phone. So hopefully we don't have too much of a delay, but we going to go ahead and make this work. You with me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, cool. Well, welcome to the show. This is Unapologetically Strong, as you know, and we are simply closing out the month on stress. So this month has not only been stressful, but also Stress Awareness Month. So because I am a mental health provider, so I do every now and again when I play a mental health provider on the radio, I do talk a little bit about some of the things that harm our human condition. So I want to thank you for just being a part of the show today. All right.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad to be here.
Cool. All right. So go ahead. Oh, I thought you were about to say.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Yeah. So one of the things we do on this show is, because it's called Unapologetically Strong, we always like to pass along some of the ways that individuals, such as yourself, find strength. Because we know that life can be difficult, and depending on your demographics, it can be even more difficult. So anytime that we can bring someone onto the show and we can empower the listeners to move forward and to grow by, someone's accounts, I'm always there to do that. All right. So my first question, or the standard question of the show, is, so where do you find your strength?
Let me see. Well, first thing that comes to mind, meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I like to spend at least 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening to meditate, just sitting still and quieting my mind and observing the thoughts that pass through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Provides me with, that certain level of strength that I may need throughout the day, because it gives you more clarity and understanding that sometimes, the thoughts that I have aren't always valid, or sometimes they're not my thoughts. They're just passing through.
Right.
Some thoughts just don't need entertainment. It comes and goes. Some feelings are temporary. Some things do need some attention. So I find when I do make time to meditate, I'm not as consistent all the time, but when I have a good week worth of consistent meditation, I feel that provides me with the strength that I need to pretty much conquer the day, man.
Nice.
There's a few more, but I'm not sure how long-winded you want me to be. That's the first habit that I have that comes to mind that brings me strength.
Okay. Well, you can be long-winded. It's all good, bro. This show is about you. You're the guest. You're the center. So you can be as long-winded as you need. Every now and again, we do got to pay bills. And so, we got to slip out. But you can be as long-winded. So when we think about, when we work with meditation, a lot of, especially, so let me go ahead and throw it out there. You are a Black male. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
So when we think about meditation, a lot of times we solidify that on one level of discipline, right? So we look at yoga and we just keep it as yoga without realizing that prayer is meditation and things like that. When you're talking with other people about your regiment of strength, how do you assist them in realizing that no matter what discipline or things that they believe in, that form of meditation or self-quietness is something that should be done by them as well?
I mean, every that's a good question. Everyone's different. So sometimes when people hear the word meditation, they tend to put it in that, that very closed box of, like you said, like yoga, new age spirituality. But meditation is, many different things. Playing video games can be a form of meditation. Reading a book, drawing, coloring, those could be considered many forms of meditation that just help quiet the mind. So what I like to do is help people just kind of realize, what are things that bring you peace and bring you joy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're going for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a form of meditation. Go to Metro Park and just go for a walk. Give yourself the space to quiet your mind and just kind of focus on one thing rather than your mind and your thoughts being pulled in so many different directions.
Right.
I hope that answered the question.
No, it does. What I like about what you said was individualizing, right, their understanding of that quietness, whether it is sitting down reading a book or playing video games, right? You get into that flow, and because that's what meditation is at times, is getting into that harmony or that flow. And if anyone that's listening don't know, when we talk about flow, we're talking about just like a river, right? So we're looking at less effort, we're looking at less restriction. So when we're talking about flow, we're talking about just less effort, and so you can do that while you are playing video games or reading a book or, just meditating or keeping your mind in a nice, even flow or a nice, even non-restrictive area. So I'm going to go ahead. If you was online right now, I'll go ahead and give you, a couple push-ups for the noise in the background.
Man, unexpected, but all times that will happen. I did move though, so we're good now.
I got you. And so the other part to bring up, our shared past. I mean, you are an individual that went to the University of Akron, just like I did. You also, unbeknownst to me, when you and I met, also pledged Iota Beta. Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then also you were all, before or part of your process of growth, you're also in the computer field. So, I said, you and I have a shared background, and although you do personal training, you also started at University of Akron in doing computers. Is that about right?
No, so at University of Akron, I got my degree in mass media communications, minor in marketing and sales technology.
Got you.
So I spent, about a year and a half after graduation, doing a lot of freelance work for photography and video clients. And, one thing led to another, and I actually ran into another member of our chapter, Ronell.
Yeah.
Lee.
Yeah.
And I did some video and photography work for him. And one thing led to another, and he inspired me to start working out, because I saw how he was living his life, and this dude looks like an action figure. And, he was pretty successful guy with his business and traveling, and he invited me down to Miami to, do some video and photography work for him. It's kind of basically like this journal, vlog his lifestyle. Yeah. And he was like, "Hey, you should start working out, E." I'm like, I don't know. That's not really me. He was like, "You should do it, man. I could get you in shape." So I said, "Why not?" Yeah. One thing led to another. I got inspired, transformed my lifestyle with his assistance, transformed my body in the span of 3.5 months. And, he was like, "Hey, you should be a certified trainer. Look what you did, in such a short time frame," which is a very uncommon thing. So why don't you be a trainer? I did not study for a personal training certificate. And I got the fitness bug. I got bit pretty hard, and I was a personal trainer, I got certified, something I never thought I would do. It kind of pulled me away from, my primary goal for my degree from Akron.
Mm-hmm.
But everything happens for a reason. It definitely happened because there was some growth that I needed in my life at that specific point in time.
Right.
And there were a lot of coincidences and like things that happened that I'm like, this isn't by accident. This definitely was like kind of like destined to happen,
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
I'm gonna give a shout out to the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So you mentioned Renell, right? Who came in after me. And then we got Big Ben, right? So we got Big Ben. He come to the gym. But before all that, I'm gonna go ahead and give a major shout out to my brother Justice Jackson, because when we were at Akron, he was the one, which is kind of interesting. He was the one that was doing a lot of things that we see like on Instagram, talking about changing the way that you eat, changing, right? He was to this day, I ask him, I'd be like, Just, all the things that you did in Akron, or all the things that you used to do, because he used to carry his video camera everywhere, right? He used to carry his video camera everywhere, and he used to work out everywhere and this and that. I'd be like, so how do you feel that all the things that you did 20 plus years ago is now becoming mainstream? And, every now and again, he have a little like, you can tell, because no one listened in the way that they listening now. His point of view is just like, I'm just glad someone's doing it, or that they're doing it now. So I want to give a shout out to just, the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma. I know the Omegas get, they pump for, their physical physique, but every, at least, a high percentage of Sigmas that I know are just 100% behind this concept of, body wellness. So, and what I want you to do is on the other side, we got to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to talk a little bit about, not only, your journey into the physical fitness realm, but also your concept of, or your thoughts about this thing that we're seeing on Instagram, where pretty much anyone can, if they've learned how to do push-ups, can give advice, and then they're monetizing that advice. So let me go ahead and pay the bills right quick. This is Unapologetically Strong on 95.9 FM WOVU. Welcome back. Fix it, Jesus. So, everybody, come on out and, check out the Christian Brothers with our one and only gospel kid, of WOVU 95.9 FM. So on the other side, we was talking with Eric. Eric, you still there?
I'm here.
All right, we got brother Eric Hudson. He is a personal trainer. And prior to our break, we was discussing this new uptick. I don't think it's new. I'm gonna be honest with you, but this uptick in this idea of, fitness and training. And you just gave your story about how Brother Ronell, took you under his wing and also helped you get to where you are right now. Because like I said, you still do the other stuff, but your fitness training, if I'm correct, is your main occupation as of right now. Is that about right?
Yes.
Okay. So you went, he, helped you get to this line. So what I want to know is just get your input on it, and get your input on, you can open up, Instagram right now, and you can see just buku, goo gobs is what we used to say, of fitness trainers or coaches or whatever, and to where they're marketing their services. What's your thoughts on that as a certified, personal trainer?
Yeah, man, I have lots of thoughts. Right now, I'm personal training at Lifetime Fitness. But prior to that, I did have my own personal training business. I was self-employed, and I spent, of course, a lot of time on Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms doing my own marketing. And and I started that back in 2016, and compared to 2024, it's a completely different world now.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's great. You know, social media has definitely opened up, you know, the opportunities to have, you know, pretty much anyone, you know, start a business based off of some sort of hobby or interest they have. Pretty much they can start it instantly. There are a lot of cons to it. You know, we are oversaturated with a lot of information.
Right.
And when we get oversaturated with too much information, we tend to have that analysis paralysis.
Right.
Where we start to overanalyze information and too many choices, too many options. And, you know, it tends to, you know, like limit people's ability actually to make a choice and decide to actually take action.
Yeah.
You know, so we're more so just browsing on there for entertainment rather than actually utilizing information to change our lives.
I think that's interesting. I hadn't heard that, you know, I haven't put that concept together. The idea that we have so much information out there that because we are overburdened of information, or we have access to so much information that it can be discouraging for people that, you know, are looking to shape their bodies in a way that is comparable to what they want.
That's very true. Yeah, it's I interact with clients all the time, and you know, they'll usually bring it up, or before I bring it up, you know, like we're always bringing up some sort of social media things they may see online, and you know, it's like, man, they always mention, and I've been trying, and you know, I meant to get started a year ago, 2 years ago, and they know all this information for what they've seen on social media or online, but you know, they have the information, but they don't really quite have the ability to like take action on information yet. And I think, you know, one of the negatives of social media is that it's created that dynamic in people's minds where they have the information and the knowledge, but they're not being really conditioned and taught to like, hey, put the phone down, now go do something about it. You know.
The crazy part is when you were talking, it put me in the mind of WebMD. So, you know, back in the day, there used to be this WebMD syndrome to where people would have an ailment and they would open up you know, they would give all the symptoms of WebMD, and they'll go and they'll diagnose themselves and then take that to the doctor and be like, I think I have this. Is that what you're talking about? Is that they see stuff on social media and be like, well, I need it to be done in this way. And because you are trained, it may not be something that is quote unquote real, or they may have a different idea of what they're looking at.
Yeah, that's definitely, you know, a good point as well. You know, like, you know, because there's so much information about, you know, nutrition or like exercise, like training styles online on social media. You know, when I do, you know, have the opportunity to sit down with someone who's interested in reaching like a fitness goal, you know, they may already think they know how to do it. But, you know, once you kind of sit down and really dive deeper into their goals and their lifestyle, they may not really know. They don't really know, you know. And that's just another barrier to break down, because then now they may not really see the value and, like sign up for your services because they think that they know. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, I could just go back online after this conversation and just figure it out. And it's like, well, maybe you need some real hands-on assistance. The social media, knowledge isn't really quite doing it for you. Because if it was, you wouldn't be sitting down with me right now.
Right. And that's the crazy part. Just simply because we have the information doesn't necessarily, and this is just not with personal training. Let's just be real. I mean, I'm in the mental health field. Everybody think because they have an opinion or they can provide advice that's, what it is. And also, it has done for, my profession, it has done some great things, but it has also caused some harm. So when you're working with someone and they come to you with this idea of, shaping their body, what are some of the things that you do? Like, what's your process?
Yeah, my process is great question, man. Actually just had a great, goal setting session with someone named Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
She's 27 and she's looking to build muscle and lose body fat. Basically, she wants to recomposition and change the shape of her body.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the first things that I usually do, of course, is get a better understanding of their goal and the reason why they have their goal. And I like to dive deeper into that why, because when you dive deeper into that why, you get to more of a emotional, motivator behind, like their goal. And that's what's really going to drive them to like take action and move forward. Because if you don't have that deep reason why, then if life happens, something comes up, take a vacation, you get back, life comes at you, which it always does, curveballs happen, moments something like that happens, you're more likely to give up. But if you have a deep motivator as to why you have this goal, whether it be, hey, I saw my parents, have all these health problems, I don't want the same thing to happen for me, or I have 3 kids and I want to show them a good example, or I something along those lines. It means more rather than it being a bit more superficial, rather than it be like, hey, I just want to lose weight to go on vacation. Once you get back from vacation, you're probably going to put the weight back on,
Now, what? There's no such thing as a summer body? We
I mean, it can. There is, but the summer body goes away quick. Once the holiday season comes around, then the holiday fluff, pops on. So, I always like to ask that why, and sometimes I ask it 2 or 3 more times. So we're breaking it down and we're getting deeper and deeper and peeling back the layers as to like why they have this specific fitness goal. So once we kind of establish that, then that lays like a great, foundation to build upon when it comes to how we can like build some sort of like game plan or blueprint to help them reach their fitness goals. So, we'll talk about nutrition. We'll talk about their exercise history. We'll talk about their lifestyle outside the gym, which is very important because you only spend, if you look at it, you don't spend that much time in the gym compared to your overall lifestyle throughout the week. So what goes on outside the gym is going to greatly impact, your fitness goals.
Yeah.
So all these things matter.
And I want to, pretty soon we got to take a break, but I want to talk about this idea of lifestyle on the other side, because what I hear you talking about is lifestyle. But before we jump into that, quite frequently when I hear someone talk about fitness, they talk about the activities associated with getting fit, quote unquote. And sometimes when I'm talking with someone, if they don't bring in the concept of DNA makeup or, historical makeup or what your body type is as it relates to your family structure, a lot of times I cognitively turn off because, there are certain things that are just simply out of our hands, because a healthy individual, quote unquote, by sight, can also be someone who keels over from a heart attack because they have high blood pressure and all that is genetic. You know what I mean? So let's take a quick break. And on the other side, what I want to do is talk about lifestyle changes and looking at approaching someone, from a lifestyle change in relation to, or how you would approach someone in a lifestyle change in relation to their health. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break. This is Unapologetically Strong on 95.9 FM, WOVU. And we're back. All right, man. Don't forget, let's do this health fair. So we got brother Eric Hudson, personal trainer, on the line. You still there, man?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. So prior to our break, the concept of lifestyle and lifestyle changes, came up. When I'm paying attention to someone that is talking about health, there's a couple things that I look for. First of all, the idea of wellness, to where all of us are, all aspects of us, I should say, is being serviced, right? Mind, body, and spirit. And so another thing that I look for is when an individual is talking about the vessel or the physiological or the physical part of the me, I want to make sure, or I listen for, buzzwords that are related to lifestyle changes, such as, paying attention to what you eat, how you sleep, how often you work out, what workouts you do. When you're working with someone, and helping them understand that physical fitness is a lifestyle change that deals with mind, body, and spirit. How do you convey that to the people that you work with?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. I just almost, as soon as I can, and during the conversation, I try to establish that as soon as I possibly can, wherever the conversation flows. But I just like to, it usually starts with asking that reason why. Because like I mentioned prior to the break, because when I start asking that reason why, I got to think about that for a second, and, then I start thinking a bit, and then, that naturally brings up, more of a wellness discussion, diving deeper into other aspects of one's lifestyle, whether it's, like sleep, nutrition, mindset could be a big thing. A lot of people that I do come across, they realize that in order for them to improve their mental health, they need to start some sort of, training regimen in the gym or out of the gym or something. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's Pilates or something like that. But they need to do something to move their body and to connect with their body in order to improve this other aspect of their lifestyle. So I like to establish that during the conversation as soon as I can. And it's usually by asking, why they have that fitness goal that they have.
Yeah. The idea of lifestyle. So let's, jump over to, you are the sum total of the individuals that have helped create you. And so there are times when we're looking at lifestyle changes, or we have an individual who, whose DNA just doesn't match their personal goals. How do you approach that?
That's good, man. That was a great question. Good. I was with a client. This was yesterday. Yeah, this was yesterday. She's African. And me and her were talking, before we started the workout, I put her on this body composition scale that we have at our club. And, she immediately says, I already know, this might tell me a number that may not be more so accurate with my genetics, my DNA, because I'm an African woman, and I just naturally might just be more curvaceous because of, my genetics, my bone structure, things of that nature, and, the BMI calculator that I'm sure we've all have heard of at some point in time, isn't accurate. And a lot of the standards that we live off of, and at least in America, is based off of middle-aged white males. So we can't always go off of that, based on, everyone's body, So specifically referring back to this woman I was talking with, she already knew. She was very self-aware. Right. Like in the know about her body and how a lot of these standards aren't really aligned with who she is as a person, as an African woman. And we were talking about her nutrition. She's vegan. She knows that sometimes a lot of meat isn't ideal for her body because her body may not agree with it. So she eats more fruits and vegetables and lives more of a plant-based lifestyle. So that's an example of someone who was kind of already self-aware of, her situation, her genetics, her DNA, her makeup. But I like to, if people aren't aware of these things, I do my best to kind of trickle it in, gradually, because sometimes these ideas are foreign to people, if I have an African American person sitting in front of me and I tell them, and they're used to eating meat, right? Pretty much 2, maybe 3 times a day. And I say, hey man, probably based on your genetics, as you age, you may want to taper back how much meat you consume. Not saying you shouldn't eat at all, but you may want to be more mindful of how much meat you consume, because our bodies tend to not metabolize that lactic acid from meat compared to people of different ethnic groups.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people in our community suffer from diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, because we're not eating based on our DNA and our makeup. We're eating someone else's diet, and we're not eating a diet that's ideal for us.
Right. The
but
American
some people
diet.
that sounds like, like, oh, you sound crazy.
It sounds like death. That's what.
yeah. I can't do that.
I can't get that up. We've been doing that for years. Yeah.
So it's sometimes a struggle, and it's like, well, I don't want to overstep my boundaries and try to push too hard, and I'll tell them, I'll recommend you probably, I'll usually refer out and go to a nutritionist, get your blood work done. Maybe see like a holistic doctor or something like that. I do my best to refer out. Sometimes the conversation, they're open to it, or they're very closed off to it, and it sounds a little too
out there.
It sounds a little too out there for them. They're not ready for it.
Yeah, I got. So I do want you to talk about this body composition scale, because I think when we think about scales, or even these apparatuses that they sell on Amazon, there's a difference between buying these scales online and utilizing what the information it provides, as well as being in connection with someone. But before that, I do want you to go back to this body composition scale. But when we look at gender differences in health, are you finding in working with the individuals you work with, are we still dealing with body shaming as it relates to gender specific body shaming now? Because with the stuff that you see on social media, you see the either gym engineered or medically engineered body. And so, connecting that to a person's emotional palate and how we as humans deal with negativity. Are you seeing in the individuals that you're working with, is that body shaming concept still high?
It is. I've noticed that, like the perception of it has kind of shifted a little bit. It's become a bit more positive, but I noticed for women, and just like maybe a fun fact that people may or may not be aware of, but I find that majority of personal training clients are women. Yeah. Just through my experience, I would say at least 80% of my clients throughout my experience have always been women. And just interacting with women and, sitting down, talking with them and understanding their goals and their lifestyle, I feel just like the propaganda and conditioning, through media, even before social media, right. It's just this body image, like concept, and they feel like they have to look a certain way. Right. If they bend over and a roll develops on their stomach, then that's a bad thing. I'm like, that's kind of natural, so just dealing with that and, lots of other things, but the body shaming is definitely there, and on social media, like, cause we're exposed to so much information and you're seeing these super fit people online, and whether or not, they're injecting stuff, to look that way, it tends to like mess with your self-image, because you spend so much time online. I feel it's human nature to compare. We're always going to compare ourselves to something. It helps us identify ourselves and make a picture of who we are and how we fit into the world. Yeah. But sometimes social media, it's just like a rabbit hole of doom scrolling, and you see this person, then 5 minutes later you see this person, and then you're like, man, they got a nice butt, or they have toned arms, or midsection, and then you look at, I don't look like that, what's wrong with me? And then you look in the mirror, and now your
now you don't like you
being tampered with. And it's like all from somebody you don't even know and you'll probably never meet, and prior to that doom scrolling, you weren't even feeling that way.
Right.
So
You was cool.
Is that feeling even? Yeah. So it's definitely prevalent. It's definitely like a roadblock.
Yeah.
And like a mental hump that, us as personal trainers, we have to help our clients get over.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but if you're a good trainer and your client is motivated, as they get results, you'll notice that, their self-image and, their confidence will increase as they're getting results.
Yeah. So back in the day, we used to have and I just dated myself. Back in the day, we used to have a term called body dysmorphic disorder. And for for those that didn't know, body, it's a old DSM term, and it's actually, something to where an individual, dislike their body, and they would go and change their body in some type of way. And back in the day, surgeries were rare, right? They were rare. But now, the BBLs and stuff like that, a lot of times the body dysmorphic disorder concept came from literal self-hate, right? So low self-esteem. And I don't think a lot of, because even if you don't go under the knife, starving yourself, working out, extreme workouts, fluctuation can be viewed as body dysmorphic disorder. We're going to take a break. And then on the other side, I want to get your thoughts on that. And then we're going to talk about this body, what did you call it? Body composition scale?
Yeah, body composition.
All right, so we're going to talk about that because I want to hear about that and just get an understanding of what it is and how it helps your clients. So we're going to take a quick break. This is WOVU 95.9 FM. What up? Unapologetically Strong on WOVU 95.9 FM. We got brother Eric Hudson, personal trainer. What's going on, bro? You still there?
I'm still here. How you doing?
Good. So prior to the break, this idea of, body, what is it? Body dysmorphic disorder. I can't remember because they don't even use that term anymore. What it was basically was, an individual, because of depression, low self-esteem or whatever, would actively go and attempt to change their body. And like I said, back in the day, the surgeries, the cosmetic surgeries were rare. Now, I think in Northeast Ohio, right? In some of our more prominent areas, right around the corner, I think from the gym that you work at, there's a in-out surgery spot there. What are your thoughts about this, I guess, increase or this concept of body disorder or morphic disorder, or, disliking my body because of my esteem? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question, man. Well, I'll just go off and say, I believe everybody has a right to do what they want to do with their body. If you feel it'll bring you happiness at that point in time, then go for it. From what I have seen over the years, and how the rampant increase has just just kind of really like popped up out of nowhere almost. It just kind of seemed like it just kind of hit you in the face. Like you're seeing a lot of people getting these surgeries, BBLs or lip injections, or, maybe you want some abs that you aren't ready to work for. So you get a surgery to make your abdominal wall look a bit more toned or whatever it may be. Or I see guys pump stuff into their arms to make their biceps look bigger, I mean, I would never do it, and, I know we were talking about social media prior to, but I think, just social media has a lot to do with it, because we have so much exposure to, the world, and, the world has become such a, more connected place, and we're seeing people from many different walks of life around the world, how they look and what they're doing. And, we see a lot of influence from pop culture when it comes to music and music videos, and, like that whole industry pushes a certain image, and we're constantly seeing this imagery on social media when we're scrolling. And, like another human need that we want to fit in. We want to have a sense of community. We want to feel like people might like us based on how we look, how we present ourselves.
Right.
And sometimes it comes to, people wanting to, get some lip injections.
Right.
Getting a BBL to get more attention, to get some validation and make themselves feel like they're a part of some sort of community, to get some sort of attention, whatever it may be, So I think that's the main motivator behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of it. I've never had a client get. I've had clients get like tummy tucks and things like that. But that's it. Yeah. But I always encourage people, man, just do it the hard way.
Right.
That's the way. I'm not sure if you believe in, a supreme creator, whatever it may be, but if you do, that's the way he would want you to do it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, what I was going to say is in my history, let's see, I've been in mental health for a while, and I've only had one client that had some type of cosmetic surgery. And I remember that, I remember the session that this client came in, and it was like, you know what? I just need to do this. And when she said need, it was, that's where my antenna went up. With that said, along the way in working with this individual, what I heard more than anything else is not I'm trying to do something easy. This is a difficult portion of my body that I've been having some issue with. And I have gone and attempted many different ways to change this. And so now I have chosen this. And she had a lot of anxiety, about it, and me being her provider was just, one, make sure that whatever you're doing, you're understanding that you got to do it safely. Right. So that's the first one. Secondly, as her practitioner, it was be 100% clear of why you are doing this. Right. And, because I've seen individuals or spoken to individuals that this is going to make me a better person, or this is going to make me liked when it's not. And so, those are some messages that I've passed along to individuals, say, hey, make sure you're doing this for the right reason.
Yeah, yes. That's definitely the most important part, because you might change, like you mentioned, so some people might do it for medical reasons. Like they tried everything, it's not working. I got to do this, or, my health is on the line or something like that, you know? So I get that, it's definitely important, but, you also have that side where it's like you said, like, I want to do this, or I need to do this because it'll make me feel better, or whatever it might be. And, and sometimes you might get some type of change, some type of surgery, and it might not change anything, and maybe I always say, it's your mindset more than anything, right? It's your perception of self, like maybe you don't need to change how you look, you probably need to change the way you think of yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's another aspect to it.
Yeah. So in this segment, our last segment, we usually like to provide the listeners with some items. So like I said, you can pretty much buy anything on Amazon, right? You can get during the pandemic, where, to be perfectly honest, is where I saw a lot of increase in some of the activity, because, people, we were closed in and people wanted to connect. And I remember, virtual workout sessions. I saw a lot of that. I would, send out, personal trainers that I knew that was actually doing the work, and they would, have like home training things, and I would send those out on social media. So social media or Amazon or any of these is simply a tool. And anytime we have a tool or we abuse a tool, we're going to get we're going to have repercussions. So back to this body composition scale, because I know that something like that at home can help individuals. What is so the one that you were discussing, or the one that you referenced, what is it? And how does that help your clients in, crafting their plan?
Yeah, so this specific scale is called an Embody. And this specific scale is, I've seen it, in many different places. It's a pretty popular piece of equipment. Essentially what it does is that you stand on top of it, and it has these these steel nodes that your body will need to connect to. So you have to be barefoot on these steel nodes, and you also grab these handles that also have these steel nodes. And what the machine does is that it sends a very small electrical current throughout the body, and that current interacts with the water and fluids in your body, your nervous system, to gain some feedback on what's going on with how much muscle mass you have, how much body fat you have, and your water weight as well.
Okay.
So it's pretty beneficial. You can go on Amazon and order something called a smart scale.
Yeah.
Which is something that I purchased in the past, and kind of gives you a similar data feedback, but it's not as accurate as this in-body scale, because the in-body scale has more points of connection.
Got you.
And the more points of connection that these sort of devices have, the more accurate it can be at giving you that data about your body.
Got you. Okay. And what are some items? So you mentioned your smart scale. So for the listeners, what are some items that you would recommend that we, as a personal trainer, that we purchase or use while we're on our fitness journeys?
Yeah, definitely a good pair of headphones. Because the playlist, whatever, is important.
Right.
Because I like, and I work out, that's me time. I put my headphones on, I listen to a wide variety of music, where it's like funk music from the 70s, from Michael Jackson, where it's today's hip hop, or whatever it may be.
So your playlist got to be fire.
It has to be fire, man.
Okay.
Because you have to create an environment that's going to help you, get into that zone to attack, your workout. So good pair of headphones.
All right.
Important.
So that's one. What's next?
That's one. How many do I have?
You get two more. Two more, because we got it. we got 3 minutes.
I would say some good clothes. That's not saying you got to come in there being the most stylish, but I would say a good pair of shorts or pants.
You can't come in with boots.
Nah, you got to have a good comfortable pair of sneakers too, man. Good comfortable pair of sneakers. I've seen people come in with boots. Sometimes it's midday, but maybe you manual labor, maybe you a plumber or electrician. Right. Get a workout in. You don't have time to change, and you just come in and out. But you want to create an environment. You want to create that environment within and outside of yourself that's going to be very conducive to reach your goal.
All right, we got one more. What's one more? One more item.
One more, I'll have to say post-workout snack, man. So have something in your duffel bag,
right?
Whether it's a banana,
right,
or some sort of maybe work out early in the morning. I think I ran into you and I saw you out there with maybe a Starbucks espresso cup or something like that.
You just gonna say that on? Oh man! All right, I'm about to cut you off, bro.
I mean, you do it, but I mean, it's good though.
It is
because it's important.
Yeah,
you need something to keep you propelling forward after your workout.
All right. That's all we got, man. They're gonna kick us off the air in a minute. We got to get up out of here, man. Man, I appreciate you, bro, coming on. Give some quick information to where they can, our listeners can reach you.
Yeah. So I am a personal trainer at Lifetime Fitness out in Beechwood, Ohio. You can go to the Lifetime app and find me on that app, or you can come to the club, give the club a call and ask for Eric Hudson.
All right.
You can also find me on Instagram. My Instagram is
okay.
Hud __.
Okay. All right, bro. It's appreciate, I did the dynamic stretch because I'm getting old. And so my brother helped me. But much love. I appreciate you guys. See you on the other side. I think we got May coming up, right? And then we got Steph. So next time I see you, we're gonna have Steph, and hopefully she keeps me online. But I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you coming out. And peace. See you next week.